Hey, what up, YouTube? This is No Cap, No Filter. I'm your host, Molly G, back at y'all on another episode of Running With You. And today we got to run about this video I came across. I've been seeing it kind of been making its traction on a social network, but this woman basically saying that she believes in 50-50 in this modern dating, I believe. I haven't watched none of this video, but we're going to react to it together. But I think that's what she's saying, in modern dating within this economy, she don't believe that a man should be fully accountable for 100% of the finances. Let's go ahead on and get into the video without further ado.
I don't believe that it's fair in this economic state for a man to have 100% of financial responsibility in the household. That's crazy for me to say out loud. I think sometimes we have ideologies based on the 1%. If you are part of the 0.1% and you are baller, you're making yeah, yes, we understand. You have to pay for everything. You buy the bag, you'll buy the this, you'll buy the that. Babe, the average man in the UK is making like 40 to 60 a year. 2,600 a month for one person to survive on their bills or whatever. 2,600 a month. And then you now have to come and be looking after another person. And then we get back to the conversation of, oh yeah, but I'm not going to be dating a guy who earns 40K. But then I ask you the question, how much are you making right now? Because if you're making around 30 to 40K, you're going to be in the spaces of those boys who are making 40K a year. So in order for you to
When it comes to this conversation, man, this is like beating a dead horse. Like, this 50-50 thing, this is such a case by case basis type of debate, bro. What you dealing with in your household is not going to be what the same people dealing with in their household. What you dealing with in your unit, in your apartment complex, it's not going to be what the person is dealing with in the next unit. You would think everybody in the same apartment complex making the same amount of money, but it's not true. Some people is in that same apartment complex living below their means. Some people are in that complex living at their means, and some of the people in that apartment complex living above their means. Every household is different. I want people to understand this. Just like how she said, if you are in that 1% where you just balling and you're the man, okay, cool. Have at all the bills. But in this modern dating society, people got to understand as stuff get revolutionized and time goes on, times change. In this modern economic society, it is very hard for a man on his salary to upkeep a whole family. And that depends on his living habits, his lifestyle, his spending, his wants and needs, and his partner's habits, lifestyle, wants, needs. Do you got a woman that is not going to have a good sense of money? Do you got a woman that has a false reality of money? Do you have a woman that understands money and is going to try to help save you money? Like that's a key life hack right there. Get with a woman that's going to save you a buck, not with a woman that's not going to care if you're going to spend your last buck.
to increase the guys that you date, you also have to increase whether that's your education, your hustle, your grind, try and make more money, try to educate yourself more, learn more. But then you get to the next level of tax bracket and there's even lesser guys. And then you get to the next tax bracket, and there's even lesser guys. And then you get to the next tax bracket, it's just full of married men that are trying to chat to you. So where do we go as women here?
Yeah, and she hit it on the nail. She hit it on the head right there. You hear the red people talk about this. The red people talk about this all the time. The more money a woman make, the less options that she's gonna have, because women only can date up. Men will date down financially and socially, economically. Women want to date up as you see it all the time with all these women who became influencers, who became Instagram models, who became rappers. Once they didn't date an athlete, they can't go back to dating a regular guy. They just can't. They'll hide it behind, oh, I need a guy that can understand my lifestyle and understand my work schedule and all. They'll hide it behind that. But in reality, they just want a guy that makes more than them. So if they're making $1 million a year, they want a guy who's making 2 to 3 million. Once they make 2 to 3 million, they want a guy that makes 5, and so on. It's almost like it's almost like when girls first start dating and they talk to a guy who has a car. Once you start getting picked up by this guy that has a car, it's hard to date a guy that doesn't have a car. Once you start dating a guy that has his own apartment and own place, and you ain't got to go to his mom's house, you ain't got to go by his parents' house, it's hard to date a guy that doesn't have their own house. So women date up. But a man can meet a woman for the most part. He's not gonna really care about, what's her education level, what's her salary, does she live alone, does she live with her mom? Yes, certain things can be better for convenience, but it's not gonna be the end all be all to make or break compared to when it comes to a woman, And also it is exceptions to the rules. Some women, they might break some of these standards if they like you enough, but most women, they still will want to go for the guy that's making more than them. And as you go up, if let's just say you're a woman and you just started making more and more money, once you hit that certain tax bracket, all the men up there, a lot of them going to be married, and a lot of them going to have a lot of women that's going to want them too. So he's going to have to like you back. Yeah, man, this 50-50 debate, bro. Like, if one thing black people gonna debate about, it's gonna be this 50-50 stuff. I'm starting to think the CIA done planted this damn question on the social medias to have us arguing for days. For days and years. I mean, y'all not tired of this same rhetoric. We just say the same stuff over and over, and people just regurgitating stuff that they hearing off the internet. Like a lot of the stuff I hear off the internet, I've been having my mindset on this even before I heard it on the internet. Like a lot of stuff just common sense, especially when you got experience when it comes to the dating. But I want to know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Are you refusing to pay a bill? You don't care what she says. Like, if you get with a man, he has to pay the bills. You don't care if modern times have changed and things are more expensive. A man just got to be a man. Are you agreeing with what she's saying? Are you disagreeing? Have you ever had a situation where you was going 50-50? Tell me about it. Have you ever had a situation where a man was taking care of all the bills? A lot of times women say, when a man take care of all the bills, he's becomes controlling. So let me know down in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what you're waiting on. Until next time, I'm out.